I'm gonna dance by myself like nobody's watching. Don't really care if my rhythm's off, 'cause I'm gonna dance like nobody's watching me. I'm gonna dance by myself like nobody's watching. Don't really care if my rhythm's off, 'cause I'm gonna dance like nobody's watching me.
And good morning and welcome back to the Crochet Crowd live here on this Thursday morning here in Nova Scotia. It's currently 11:01 my time zone. I'm in the Atlantic time zone, so I'm much earlier than most of you here in North America. And really had a question last week from a crocheter that is questioning whether the original study of texture, she wished it would have been done in rows instead of square or rectangle. So I've been kind of thinking about this since I got the email last week, because you know the thing about crochet is like I can never do the right shape. I can never do it. If it's square, it should have been rectangle. If it's rectangle, it should have been rows. If it's rows, it should have been waves. And so I was kind of questioning whether the study of texture of the original, like we once had, this was the very first time we ever did a study, and they're questioning whether it would have been more convenient for us to do that in rows instead of a square. So I've been really kind of pondering that since I got the email. Actually, I'm going to sound like a reality show. It's an itch I have to scratch. I'm kind of curious of whether the stitch counting, it will actually work. And part of the hiccup that I have is that I don't know the stitch multiple because we use so many different textures of stitches. So I think I'm just going to just try just a small little swatch and see where it goes. I'm not even sure that I really want to even crochet a sample of this to create one. Maybe people can do that themselves. So anyway, so Colleen is joining us this morning. So is Christy, all the way from Puerto Rico. And yeah, so I want to just kind of chart it out and see where we're going to go with that, and then let the customer make up their mind. So this pattern may be just in chart format, because I really honestly I don't want to crochet another one. I have crocheted this thing I think 4 times in my lifetime, and I think I'm enough. I'm a kind of crocheter. Once I crochet it once, for lack of a better term, my itch is satisfied. But then I got to crochet it again to retest my first pattern, and then I got to recrochet it the 3rd time for the actual photograph version that you see online. So those kind of designs get done, and then in this case I did a 3rd or 4th one with a different color mix. So the question is can this design do it in rows? And if I did it and figured it out in rows, will this customer be okay with me never having to do one, and that I can give them the formula to do it, and then they just go with it and do it? I can see that the part of the issue would be like they don't want to follow crochet diagrams, but I think in this case, I physically just don't have time to run a sample. Like many other creators, I crochet all my own stuff. And so to find time to do that is questionable. I'm working on the summer stitch along currently right now. It's actually going really cool, if I do say so myself. And so that's going to be good. So we have Paulette this morning, roaming. We have Kim. We have Pam also in the house this morning. So I am going to take a look at the stitches, and my goal is to see how they line up. So I might just have to mess with the edge so I know in this particular stitch sample that it's in multiples of 1 plus or 2 plus 1, but sometimes it was 2, 2, 2. So I'm confused on how I would handle the edging when some of the stitch multiples were in a different stitch multiple of each other. But we will figure it out and then go from there. So I'm going to jump to the other screen. I can see what you're saying to me. If you want to chit chat, you want to chat with some new friends, we are going to be here tonight, later this afternoon, actually at 3 p.m. Eastern time. In about 4 hours from now, we have a guest that is overseas, and we don't want them to stay up all night just to be able to talk to me on loose ends tonight. So we do have an early loose ends today. If you do miss the broadcast, you can just follow it and just watch the replay if you're interested in that. So, but Obviously, no pressure. So we're gonna jump on over, and I know some of you are like, "Oh, for God's sakes, get off the the charting." It's what helps me be able to figure stuff like this out. I'm a very visual person. One of the things that I talk about a lot is that I was a really crap kid for learning wise, and my mom figured out that I need to learn in a special kind of way, kind of a special kind of stupid. So my goal is to kind of see where we're going to go with this particular stitches, and we need to honor the right side and the wrong side. That is the most complicated thing of all of this jazz. So we're not going to worry about edging. We're not going to worry about trying to get things to line up. What we need to worry about is to figure out if the stitches can actually go together in a format. So I'm just going to lay some stitches down. I know, don't get excited with my terminology. And we're going to lay some stitches down and see where it goes, and see if the journey can actually be done. So I might as well just start right here. And everything is kind of pre-drawn because I'm like gifted. Oh, I just got an email that I'm going to want to see. Just one second. I reached out to a company this morning for help on something. What program am I using? Adobe Illustrator is what I'm using. Just one second. I got a really important email that I need to see. Oh, shit. They're not able to help me until November. What is it? April, May, June. Okay. Okay, so let's just get on with it. And let's try to figure out what we're going to do here. So we have treble. We have trebles. Sorry, I'm kind of thrown off now. That threw my Zen out of whack. You ever get that where you get an email that just throws you for a loop? Yep. So anyway, row number 2 is always in blue. So I'm just going to grab these guys and take them over with me. And so we focused on trebles on this one here. So we started off with, I'm just taking a look at what we have. We started off with the front post treble. And then a back post. And so that's going to be the thing going across. So anyway, I started recording actually how to do these crochet diagrams on computer, and then I gave up because I'm like, I know a lot of information when it comes to this stuff, but I ran out of ambition, to be honest with you. I don't think I'm necessarily the right host to be teaching how to use software. So I'm just going to shrink these guys down a little bit. Oh, maybe not. I'll just leave it. Okay, so the next row was the same thing, but opposite. No, it was the same. So the next row is the same. But if I'm going back and forth on the rows, then it's a problem. Oh, why am I doing this to myself? So if I come across and I come around, let's just put an arrow in there. So I'm going to go that way. And so then this guy is going to go over. That, so anyway, I designed this actually to be a shawl, and it was the hardest part to figure out how to flip things back and forth like that. So we're going to just reverse that over so that I know. Okay, so we got this stitch should be the same. So this should be an odd number. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. Okay, so that was row number 2. Row number 3 is exactly the same as this one, but it's opposite of each other, so we have to reverse these guys. So to keep the, let's reverse, we're going to reflect that and down. That's the only way rib stitching happens. And then we do it one more time, the same as this guy. Okay, and so we're going to come up and move him up so he's that way. Okay, and then it goes to a single crochet. So we're going to need some single crochet. So, oh, shoot. This should be black. Every other row is a different color. So the single crochet is black. Let's grab some single crochets over from my collection. And we'll place these guys down into position. Okay, so that was row number. Okay, what's missing? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. This is row number 5. I'm going to put a number in there just so I get it. So we have 1. I don't know. Anybody want to crochet this for me if I do it? Probably nobody. 3, 5. So I'm not going to worry about any edging until I can see all of the stitch multiples that are along the way. And let's label. We're going to have to label. So that was number 2. We're going to have to figure out what is the right side. So I think number 1 is the right side, right? So let's label that 2. RS is right side. So whatever we do, when we go in this direction, I'm going to put this as green. This is the right side because it will matter. Right? Rows 1 and 2 are both in the same direction. So rows 1 is going this way. Thank you for that. Sorry, I assumed. So row 1 is in this direction. Okay. Does the retail taste the same as the shop? Does the Tim Hortons tea taste the same as the shop brewed tea? People say it does, but I don't think it does. Yeah. So yeah, don't even get excited about that. I think their machine is a miracle machine, but it sounds like a good idea right now. It's 11:13 my time. So this was now moving on to row number 6. Row number 6 is a double crochet in each. So we'll take some blues. How pedestrian is this? Okay, so that was number 6. Okay, and number 7 is a treble. Front post around the single down here. So we are going to have to bend some stitches. So we're going to take this guy. We'll take front post is this way. That way. Okay, so it's going to be this guy. No, that's okay. I'm confused. Hang on one second. This is the wrong side. That's a back post. I need a front post for treble. So the front post treble is this guy. And so he is going to, we have to bend him so that people don't get confused and I don't get confused. So he is going to go and bend somewhere to there. And we need a single crochet to align with him. And we'll get these guys to be the same height. And we'll zoom in. So we got to bend this guy. So we're going to bend him out. So the reason why you bend is that you can actually physically see the stitch, but realize that they're not actually connected. And the bend cannot be too extreme. It just has to be enough that it gets your attention. Okay, and then we'll move these guys up. So this is Adobe Illustrator. That's what we're using. And we need to do this guy as black. So we're going to have to make sure that these guys are grouped together, group them and make them black. And so this is going to be the repeat all the way across. Okay. And that was number 7. So what stitch is that if you do that? It's kind of like a faux popcorn. I believe this blanket, I never did turn it around to the back to crochet. For anybody can confirm that. Just a gentle reminder, the chat's moderator, please practice kindness to one another. We don't appreciate rude remarks flung at one another. Okay. That's Wendy. Wendy with the hammer. It's hammer time. Okay, number 7. Okay, so number 8, half double crochet. I do not like that stitch at all. And I do not believe that I have a half double crochet. And I think I need a blue one of those. So people were asking for one of my studies to be a roll blanket instead of round or square. So I'm purposely trying to line it up right, so it's in case I ever use this. So that was number 8. We're going to go for number 9. Okay, 9 is front post, back post. Oh, I already have the post there. So we're going to start front post, back post. I always, if you haven't ever figured it out, I always design the same way. So whenever I start with a front post, I always start with a front post I don't know why. I'm very consistent in that manner. So it's front post, back post. And I have no objections with adding an extra something if in case the stitches don't work out. Okay, we'll make sure these guys are aligned out. Number 9, number 10, we're going to move on. Number 10 is just single crochet row, which we've done already. So we'll grab this guy. Okay, so this guy should have been black. And then blue. So I am live on YouTube for sure. YouTube is kind of my home channel. I watched a really interesting documentary last night, like really interesting. I think it's with a kid influencer that I've never heard of, Piper Raquel, I think her name was, with her parents, and then there was a squad or something. Anyway, I found it quite fascinating. I don't follow any of the kids stuff on YouTube at all, so I never heard of them, but just kind of fascinating. Okay, so that was number 11. And then, okay, so number 12 is going to be on the wrong side of the work, so therefore we need to make that as a front post. We need this guy over here, so the number 12 needs to be a front post, so that's not written. It's because it's on the wrong side. I have never done charts before. Do you use Adobe? Yes. So the charts are red. There's a misconception about charts which really upsets me a lot. I don't know why. I don't even know why I should care. But anyway, so the only time that a crochet diagram is left or is right-handed or left is when you're spelling a name. For everything else, they're all the same. So the reason why I have the arrow, so you follow the instructions this way, and then when you get to the end of the row, you shift up. So in this case, you'll chain 1, and then you will single crochet back. And so when you get to the end, you'll chain 1 and single crochet back. So even if you're left-handed, you will still follow the chart in the same manner. So the only time it makes a difference is when it's there's a name to be spelled, is when the chart needs to be flipped. But I think one day, honestly, I look at this stuff like I put out a big blab on Facebook yesterday about the charting because people like are so hypersensitive over it, and because I'm not a great reader, I can follow this stuff, but also what I never intended, which is a side consequence, is that because we're global nature, especially our audience is over in India, in Thailand, and Turkey, and Russia, Amsterdam, and all, they don't need to know my language. They just need to follow the chart. So I think that's remarkable. So that was number 12, and that was on the front post because of we're doing that. Okay, next. 13, 14, and 15 are all single crochet rows. Okay, we just got to reverse the colors. So the problem with this particular pattern, if I design it this way, oh, it should be blue, is that you only have half the size. So I have to figure out how would you make it longer if you were to do it. So that's something for another day. Okay, so we have that one and that one. Okay, so we got there, so 12. So the right side's always an odd number. That helps me to understand that. So this is 15, and so this is 14. And so I'm maintaining the same number for the original, so I can keep an eye on it. So 15, 16. Okay, 16 is where it gets dicey. 16, we need a popcorn. So we're going to grab a popcorn. And this is where the stitch multiple screws up. So we're going to have to figure that out. So let's just throw it in and see what happens. So according to this, it was three doubles and then one of these. One, two, three. And then there was doubles. Doubles are blue. So this is, so all this stitch multiple is now out of whack because of this row. Oh, shoot. And this will not work because it's on the wrong side. Okay. Let's do something. Let's break some rules here. I don't want to do a wrong side popcorn because then the people will get pretty upset about that. So let's eliminate. Let's make this black. And let's eliminate one row of single crochet. So this will stay on the right side of the work. And move that down. And let's put a note here. Original round 15 is missing due to right side. Jumped to round 16 instead. Does the original have repeats? Yes. Oh, the original did not have repeats as far as like going through the cycle, so no. Okay, so that was 16. 17 is the same as this one. Let's just grab these guys up. Single crochet doesn't really matter too much. So we got 16. 18 is double crochets. Have I not included double crochet yet? I guess not. Oh, it's right there hidden. I'll just grab a new one. Let's grab, it has to be black. Let's grab a whack from here. Okay, that was 17. And then we're back on, so, that's good. This, love when it works. So this actually is the same thing. That's going to make it easy. Okay, that was week number 2. Done. Okay, let's just make this canvas bigger. Okay, and we'll flip the page. Okay, so we're now on number 20. So because I eliminated out a row to make it work, the stitch count, the stitch numbers are going to be off by 1, but nobody's going to know. Okay, that was row number 19. Oh. Okay, so now I have, it doesn't really matter. So this one is a multiple of this. I'm just going to grab these guys and take it up with me so it's closer. So this one is in pairs. So this means that, this is what screwed everybody up. Number 21, front post. So we're going to make it a back post because we're going in the opposite direction. So this one here is where everybody screws up on round number 20, because this particular grouping is in multiples of 2. So these are on multiples of 3 and 3 that were done, but this one is in multiples of 2, which upset a lot of people. You know, just stitching for her pleasure. Just get the height to be right. So I'm going to intentionally just leave this outward so you can clearly see that something's wrong. Well, it's not wrong, it's just different. Okay, so we're going to do this as number 20. So this here is a blanket, but it can be a shawl. It can be a rectangular route too. Okay, 22 is exactly the same as this, but it's opposite of each other. So we are going to then copy up and reflect it over. And make it black. And then 23 is double crochet again. Actually, the easiest way to do that is to move this guy over and then just highlight them all and realign. Okay, so he's going back in the opposite direction. And that was week number 3. $22 and blue. Okay, we did colored eggs. Anybody remember the color eggs? Almost everything he designs is a blanket. Yeah, you know what? Because I don't. I had a woman email yesterday. She wants to figure out how to change sizes, but I never went to school for that. And the designers at Yarn Inspirations, they all went to design school. So they went and studied at a college for design or university for design. And anyway, I don't have the capability of designing clothing. I don't have my education in clothing. Some people can teach themselves, but I'm not that interested to go through that route. One lady, she wants to be a clothing designer, so she asked me how she goes about okay, that was wrong. So she asked me how she's going to go about learning, and I'm like, you got to put yourself in school. So then she responds back saying that she doesn't have the money or the time to go to school. And I'm like, I don't know what else to tell you because I can't design without that knowledge. It's like getting you to fly an airplane without actually having lessons doing it. So I think there's some things that you need to, if you're really that interested, you have to figure out a way to get the education that you need in order to move forward. Does that sound mean? That's sound mean. But there's really never any simple solution to learn. You just got to do it. That was number 22. Oh, that was 23. So yeah, so my issue is that I don't think I'm that fat, but I think I might be. So even if I tried to go to a local clothing store, I'm at the size where I'm too fat, and so I can't even buy clothing pretty much at the local stores. And I'm not interested in necessarily shopping at Walmart for everything either. So I don't know. I didn't think I was that fat, but I think I might be. Okay, so number 20. Okay, so I had a friend that would never allow her picture to be taken. And so I took a photo of her for a newsletter and she got really upset about it. And so she says that she has, she doesn't really want to comprehend how fat she's gotten. So anyway, so she was really quite upset about it. And I'm like, you're really not that fat. And she really wasn't, but her image of herself is compromised. And so it's kind of sad, but it's true. And I don't believe that all designs look good on the same people. Like, just because you can make it bigger doesn't mean it's going to look good. So this morning, this is Adobe Illustrator that I'm. So for those that are late joining the party this morning, I'm trying. A crocheter has asked me to design something, one of my existing designs, and they want me to figure out the math in order to do it. And so anyway, I've taken on the personal challenge because I'm an idiot for one thing, but I've taken on the personal challenge to actually see if it can be done because I'm more curious than anything. Let's make these guys the same height. Maybe I should have designed this blanket in rows. It would have been a lot easier. Jesus, if I can design this fast. Now I'm getting some ideas. Okay, so it's this guy. He's black. And so he goes in front of that. So this guy was a multiple of a 4 plus 1. So we're going to be going. Oh, this is the Easter egg area. So this one here, we need 5 trebles. Actually, what we need is a life, but it's not on my sheet here to be able to select it today. So I need. That was a front post. I need a back post treble. I need this guy. Around here. I need a and then I need a front post double here. So by holding the shift and command key, you can just select it and it will carry it across. And now this guy, there's actually 4 of these guys here. So I'm going to have to just make 4 work. So there's an extra stitch in there if you can see it. So we're going to make 4 and then we're going to equally space it. And we're going to make it a little bit bigger. So this caused an extra stitch to kind of go in. So we're going to line up to the center. This is the only time that I've ever used cabling in my my work. I like the cabling, but people get really confused by it, so it's easier not to design with it than it is to send people over the cliff. So with design, you have to, there's two things that you need to consider when you're doing design. You have to consider the user and consider the skill level that they possibly have. And then you have to also consider if they feel inclined to spend the time to figure things out. And I find most people don't want to really spend a lot of time in figuring things out. They just want it. They just want it to work. So there's a lot to consider. And then the cost of the project is the big one of all. Okay, so that's it, done. And so this one is backwards, right? So we have the Trinidad Islands here today. The charts do not resonate with me. I don't want to have to look at every 5 seconds. It's just a jumbled mess. Can't read blueprints either. Yeah. So I used to be a car designer. So the blueprints are something that I learned in school, plus then in my job. So I was in the car design field just for a very short time frame of my life. And then I realized I didn't like it. Not for me. Part of the issue was that it was like the old boys club, and the computers were just coming out in the design field. And anyway, it was a conflict between the old designers of using pen and paper, or pencil and paper, versus the new design thing, and it was just a mess. So this here is going to be a front post around these guys. Anyway, it was not a great job, to put it nicely. Anyway, I just gotta line these up. So the stitch counts go out of alignment at this particular moment. So this one gets ignored. So there should be 4 and 4. So there should only be 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So so for those that are joining us right now, I am taking a look at one of my existing designs. A crochet really wants to do it in rows instead of what I designed. So we have this design in rectangle format as well as square, but she doesn't want to do that. So she wants to do it in rows. And so she said it would have been nice if I would have done it in rows instead. So I'm actually just curious to whether it can actually be done in rows. So I'm doing a small swatch because it's a stitch sampler. the stitches don't always line up with each other. And so anyway, I'm designing with that intention. So I have, how many is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and this is 8. So I'm going to leave an extra one out. We're going to ungroup that. Now the hell with it, I'll just grab both. So this row here is a problem because it doesn't align with anything below. But we will figure it out. So these are front post double crochets, or front post trebles. So Jaime is joining us today all the way from California this morning. What else we got? Okay, so we got our 9 back. So there's 9 here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we got our 9 back. And so we are going to say this is 27. 26 and 27. And now we're going to crisscross those guys over. And so they have to be, crisscross is
the crisscross has to be done on the back. That is going to be a pain in the ass. So this is front post, so we're going to crisscross on the back post. Oh, people are going to love that. And so my goal is to get ourselves back in alignment with these guys. So this whole section then converted itself into, so these things are all in groups of 2, which is a problem. So everything was in multiples of an odd number, and so these guys are in groups of, just going to leave one out. So 1, 3, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So we're going to cross forward. And then these guys cross backward. Actually, they gotta go even further back. So I am ready for loose ends at 3 o'clock Eastern. Just working on my crab, Karen. So Karen is my neighbor. I can see her house from here. I am just going to do that. I would have left this one out in the redesign, this section, just because it was easier to leave it out. But I think it's what makes the Afghan kind of cool. And I'm just going to make that as a dash line. Okay, so we got that. $27, $28. And now we're back to regular stuff. So we're now going to come back in the opposite direction. Okay, and so we'll make it black. And that's 29. And then 31, we're coming back in the opposite direction. So we need these guys right here. And that was number 30. So Liz Watson's like, they never used to see how big they were in the photos. I know, because back in my old days, I thought I was fat as hell and I wouldn't post my own photos. And then I realized now I'm even fatter and I should have posted those then. What am I thinking, Lisa? I don't know. Okay. Okay, round number. Okay, so we have a single crochet row. One of the stories I don't think I've shared much online at all. So when I was a trucker, I ended up going through body dysmorphia. So anyway, so my last partner was pretty tough with weight gain. So I started gaining a little bit of weight. Nothing like I am now. I'm a pig now, but before it was really bad. So I was really ultra skinny, and then I started gaining weight on the truck. So I gained an extra 10 pounds, and he reminded me that I gotta get back to where I was. So anyway, so I had, actually there's the original Crochet Crowd on YouTube actually charted my journey of losing weight. And so I spent the summer and I drank cases and cases of water instead of eating food. And I kept a journal of calorie intake. And so my limit for each day I set for myself at 600 calories. And I made myself a significant problem because I did that. And it was horrible. So anyway, so I was so malnourished and I lost my weight, and I was proud that I lost my weight, but I kept a journal. And so I would eat like a boiled egg in the morning, and then I'd wait till supper time to eat something else. And I had everything from the carrots to the apples to everything being regulated. And I absolutely went off the deep end. mentally speaking. And I had a huge mental breakdown over it. And so anyway, I had a panic attack or anxiety attack in the truck that I was driving. And I was freaking out. I called my dispatch that I'm medically in trouble, and I was really in a mess. So my dispatch, the owner of the company, got on the phone with me, and he said, take your keys out of the ignition of your truck and throw them out the window on the side of the road, but not far enough that you can't find them. And he says, we're going to send somebody to come and get you. And anyway, I was an hour and a half away from the company, and I waited in the truck having a meltdown. And so two people came, the owner came, and another maintenance individual came to get me, and they took me straight to the hospital for the psychiatric. And so I ended up spending a few days in psychiatric over it. And so I had my journal with me, and the nurse ripped into me of that, you're malnourished. And so anyway, I got put on IV and stuff to get my body back in motion. And my partner at the time was on holiday, and so they had to call him, and he came back early on vacation, and he was not happy about it. And I did not want him coming back from vacation because I knew, because the guilt was just too heavy. And so anyway, so the guy comes and finds me in the psychiatric of the hospital, locked on the 4th floor. And so, I understand the whole idea of weight and all of that stuff. And it was just bad. Just, ugh. And it's about and especially in gay society, before I got smarter, in gay society, like, it's a big friggin' to do. Okay, so I have multiples of the same round. So 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. What? Somebody just messaged me, what does off-white mean? I don't know. So there's a repeat of 4 times. So anyway, so as a result of going to the psychiatric ward, I had to take off 3 months off work to recoup and to bring myself backward. And from that, it was a horrible experience. But, when you feel broken, you feel broken. And so for myself, it was just because, I felt like I'd let my body go by gaining 10 pounds. Actually, it sounds stupid in retrospect, but it's the reality of the time. Okay, so 40. Okay, 41 is double crochet. And it's going in the opposite direction. So anyway, I don't think my story is unique in that sense. I think other people go through it too. At least I like to hope so, right? Mm-hmm. You can let me know in the comments if you're inclined to do so. Okay, let me go see what they're commenting on. I just responded. It means color. Okay, so we're on run over 40 already. And then 42 is back on, I need a back post double crochet, so I need it going on the right side, going over. I need these guys right here. 41. And then that's it. That was week number 6. Okay. Okay, week number 7. So I need some of these guys back up. So we're not going to do basket weave for a few rounds or a few rows. And we're coming on the back side of it, so that's got to be back side. If I'm coming back side first, it means that it's got to be a back post for 4 in a row. And then we're going to do front posts for 4 in a row. So TB said we put so much pressure on us sometimes. I've struggled for years. I've had people very close to me, even family, calling me fat when I was thin. Put me in a dark spot. Yeah, don't you love humans? Yay! I know. It's going to be our own selves that is going to put us extinct because we're, stupid. Just going to stretch these out. These guys are in balance. So these guys are actually multiple going this way. Yeah. Apparently Karen's smart. Mm-hmm. We'll have a debate about that later. So Sarah Fish is saying that you're not alone. I struggled with my weight for 20 years because I didn't know the terms asexual, aromatic, and demigirl existed to describe who I was, and I felt alone and ashamed. Okay, so we're going to switch these guys around, reflect these. And down. Okay, so I have it once, twice. So there's 8 altogether of those. To make the canvas bigger. So there's 8 rows of this, so they're in groups of 2. So this is 4. 6 and 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I'm going to move these guys over. I should have changed the color before I copied it to make my life easier. So the name of the original pattern is The Study of Texture. Somebody said that they wish that I would have figured it out in rows. So I'm seeing if it's possible. So I'm just doing a slice of the pattern, and I have to figure out if the stitch multiple is going to work for the edging, because sometimes it's an odd number, sometimes it's even. So I am trying to figure out if it's going to work, and I'm more curious for myself, but I really don't want to crochet it though. So I think I can diagram it out, and if somebody's that interested, they can do it themselves. Right? And that was 48. So I now have the border left, and it's a single crochet picot. Need this guy right here. And the single crochet picot should be on the right side of the work. This is right side, so we're going to need 2 rows of double crochet to get us to the right side of the work, so we can establish that. So let's just grab these guys here. Let's drag them up. So let's create an extra row so we can get that on the right side of the work to finish the border. So the pattern will need to be rewritten completely in Scratch in Words if it's going to be done. So that's number 50. And then 51 is going to be the finish. But it is a picot, so I need a little dot. In there as well. Group. And there we have it. That's it. $51. And 50 should be blue. And 51 should be black. So we end up with 51 being on the right side of the work, the border. So now we have the whole thing charted right from the very beginning. Of the blanket. So now I have to determine what is it going to take to get the stitch multiple to work. So So this guy would need 2 more there to get balance. So 3 there, 3, 3, so that's balanced. Is 3 a multiple? That would be 4 plus 4 plus 3. So if I added 2 more of everything below, will that work? I'm going to move everything out of the way. So we got to figure out what the edge is going to look like. So if I add 2 more of everything below, that'll line. That does line up perfectly. That means I can add means if I add 2 more, let's move these guys backwards out of the way. Perfect. Okay, this is a problem right here. So right here, I'm going to be out of alignment here. I'm going to be out of alignment right there. What am I going to do? This is an odd number. This is an even number. You know what? I think I just have to say screw it and just move things over and have an odd number out to make that work. And make these guys red so it calls my attention to it. So these guys would be standing alone. They would not be in sequence. That's out. Take a look. These guys are an even number, so those are with the eggs. What am I going to do? I'll move these guys out of the way. We'll add a couple more in. So it's going to be that egg shell that's going to be a problem. So Christy's actually working today. Okay, so this one is the problem right here. So what I am thinking of doing, what am I doing? I think I need to recreate this to get that to work. Okay, so these guys got to be bigger then by 2. To get that to work. That means that these guys are out of alignment. So we're going to move these guys over and then add in the just get rid of them. So we need 3. So we're trying to find the stitch multiple in order for all of this to work, because somebody's going to say they're not going to like the size. And so I'm going to make these guys red because these guys are special. I am going to ignore the idea that the eggs are out of alignment. What if no, I'm just going to add these guys over. And we're going to get rid of him. Put an extra egg there. What if we did that? And then you have 2 on both sides instead. So you got a double, double, popcorn, double, double, the 3s, and then the edges would have 2, so that would work. So let's add 2 more of everything below. Okay, so that still works below. So that's aligned properly. This is aligned. So we need another one of these guys. It's going to be out. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 13 minus 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So I need 4 more. So this is a 13, so I have an odd number out. So I'm going to need to do, I think one side is fine for it not working out. That's the problem with design. If you design with an even number, it's harder to do. And then we'll just take this guy here. and put it down. So the edging will just be a double crochet by itself. So the rows below are odd numbers, and this is an even number. So in order to make it an odd number, it has to be an extra stitch. Okay, let's add an extra one here. Let's move these guys back. So these were in groups of 4. Oh my God, does that actually work? Holy shit, it does. So all of this moves over. Except for there. So there is an odd number out on that there. So the odd number is on this side of the work. It's right there. So let's make the odd number on that side of the work as well for balance. So we're going to move everything over and make the odd number out on this side. Right there. Oh, that means that this one doesn't align. What are we going to do for that? Make these guys red so they stand out. These guys go out. So I have an extra one. You know what? We just leave it out. Done. We'll do it right in the beginning. We'll leave the other side out. Okay, so let's figure out what our multiple is then. I think we're going to need a border. So we're going to need an edge here. And let's just put these guys up. Right there. And that means that we're going to need an extra one over here. for balance. So we have red. And red. So we have an extra one on the edge. So we have to figure out what the stitch multiple is going to be. So the stitch multiple, I think, is based on this right here. So what I'm going to do, how I do it, when people ask me what the stitch multiple is, I'm just going to draw a straight line down. This is the stitch multiple right here. So to do this pattern, it would be multiples of 4. Multiples 4 chains plus, and so then we have 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't want to include that because it's an odd number. Oh, maybe I can actually. It's the same number. So 4, 4, 4 plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So multiples of 4 chains plus 5 is the multiple for this. Because this is the same thing, right? Yeah, it is. Okay. So there we go. Done. So the only difference between the original then and this is that the right sides and the wrong sides have to be adhered to make sense. And so therefore the entire pattern needs to be rewritten to accommodate the wrong side versus the right side. Let's get rid of that. So this would be the study of texture in rectangle format. Because there's crisscrossing of 2, I'm just highlighting the extra one that's an oddball out. And that's multiples of 2 plus there's an oddball out. That one we realigned, so this will the popcorn will realign properly. So I think that's it. Got it. Yeah. So you're dropping lines where it repeats. Yep, that's how you figure it out. You figure out where that, like this is an absolute, like right here, Lisa, is the absolute anchor point because everything is contingent based on the position of the popcorn. So then you got the first popcorn is 1, 2, 3, and 4 before it repeats. So therefore we knew right from here that it was going to be a multiple of 4. But we also did know that it was going to be a multiple of 4 much earlier. straight on down. Oh, actually, no, we did not. We knew it straight up on out. So this is also a multiple of 4, so it still works. So the key for me then would be to actually crochet the swatch, not the actual blanket, to figure it out, especially in this section right here, and to make sure it's going to work. Right. Would a reference in the name to a row or back and forth help or confuse with the rectangle from the middle that we offer? Would the reference of the name to in the row? I don't know, because I've had to add 2 rounds that are not, or rows that are not existing in the original pattern. So I don't, so because of that, like there's an extra row right here to make sure that the last row. So what I would do, honestly, if because this is only half of the blanket because it was done as a square. So what I would consider doing for this is that, let me just make this much bigger. So in order to get double the size, because it's only going to be half of the blanket because it's in rows, I would take this information that we just did and I would turn it upside down. And I would tell people, do the first half first. So just take this, pull it out, rotate it 90 degrees or 180. Oops. Let's take that again. And then take that whole thing and just rotate it 180. And so what I would tell for people is to start one side, get one half complete, and then start back at the original and do the other half. Oh. And so therefore you don't have to figure out some things. It doesn't have to be as complicated. So you have the crocheter restart back at the starting chain and then crochet it in the opposite direction. So you just add these then to this here, and so therefore you'll build it out like that. So therefore you would have your entire blanket all done like that. And because a crocheter can see the diagram, I think, is that they're going to be able to figure out if they want to add it to be longer, they can do it pretty easily. Right. You could also do this. You could also just do this as a shawl or a wrap, depending on how much you wanted to do that with. So let's save our work. So now that would be the study of texture if it was in rows with it confirmed. So I would just have to crochet just the little swatch, make sure it actually works, and then I have to rewrite the pattern completely. And the pattern is 52, I think it's 51 rounds or 51 rows. And what kind of yarn would I use with that? I'd probably use a self-striping yarn like the original. Probably Karen Big Cakes, something like that, something fun. And that would be how you would do something like that. So are you buying it? I don't know. So anyway, so now I know my solution. So now I can rest easy and I can relax. And I can keep this as a model. And when there's more time, I can revisit that because I know it's done. And we'll go from there. Anyway, I think I have a tutorial to film, and we'll be back at 3 o'clock Eastern for loose ends tonight. We have our guests, they're overseas, and so we will be much earlier today to accommodate them so they're not up in the middle of the night to be able to talk to us. And you'll see Karen and I at 3 o'clock Eastern time. We hope you had a great morning so far. Maybe met some new friends here on the chat. And I'm your host, Mikey from the Crochet Crowd. We'll see you.